Here is an article that caught my eye in the Wall Street Journal. Caring for older relatives is so expensive that even AARP's expert on the topic was forced to file for bankruptcy. Amy Goyer is AARP's family and caregiving expert. She's written 2 books on the subject. She's got her own consulting business. And she says, quote, "I'm a caregiving expert. How did I end up in bankruptcy?" But she did. Let's talk this over with Lori Williams, who's the host of the podcast Aging in Style. Lori, welcome to Iowa Radio. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, Lori, even when you're an expert, what is it about caretaking for older relatives that are going to take people by surprise financially, you think?
Well, it's just if your senior loved one did not plan for their future, it's extremely expensive. And people don't realize that Medicare is just your health insurance. It's not going to pay for care in your home. It's not going to pay for assisted living or memory care. So they're always shocked by how expensive it is. And, most people really don't do a lot of planning when it comes to, getting Alzheimer's in their later years or not being able to be mobile. So it's shocking to everyone, and it's a lot when you have to take care of someone with those types of needs.
Right, Lori. So let's divide this conversation up into 2 parts, like what a person should be doing for themselves as they get older and what a potential caregiver needs to be planning for. So let's talk about, as a person gets older, how do they need to be prepared for that so that your kids aren't declaring bankruptcy as you get older?
Exactly. So the most important thing they can do is get their affairs in order, make sure they have a power of attorney, they have a will, they have actually had these conversations with their adult children. And it's uncomfortable. People don't like to acknowledge that they're aging. A lot of times they don't want to share their financial situation with their kids, but it's really a gift that you can give your kids so that they're not going to be shocked, and not know what's going on when something happens. Because ultimately, it comes by surprise. It's a fall, it's something that causes them to be hospitalized. And then the kids are jumping in at the last minute, trying to figure out, what the parents' needs are, what their wishes are, what their finances are. So really important to plan all that in advance and share that with your adult children.
Lori, that's such a great point because, you're the kid, they're the parent. You're the kid, they're the parent. And I don't know if there is some point where you say, for example, I'm 35 years old, I better start preparing for caregiving my parents. But there's got to be a point where you actually do start to prepare. And Lori, how do we prepare?
So to prepare to talk to our kids or talk to our parents, it's just trying to have those open conversations with them and getting siblings involved too, because that's where we run into a lot of issues too with, you have siblings, one sibling kind of in denial about what's happening with the parent and not wanting to look into, talking with them. And so it's really important to everyone be on the same page.
And Lori, here's one of the big issues I'm sure you talk about all the time, which is we're living longer. And that's really going to create a financial strain on a lot of people as the years go forward and we live longer lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are definitely seeing people live into their 90s and even to, 100.
Right.
We do that all the time. Yeah. So, it's important to know there are some programs out there. So, there's Medicaid if someone financially is in need. So there are some programs to look into. And I think it's really important to be aware of these things. There's also senior safety products. You can keep a house safe and use technology to maybe keep someone going longer, independent longer. There's also the VA aid and attendance benefit. A lot of people don't know about this. So that's another way you can find some money there. And, there's also some programs that vary state where you can actually be paid to be the caregiver for a family member. So there are some things that are out there. There's some great services. Area Agency on Aging, every state has it. You can reach out to them or look online. There's Alzheimer's Association. They have lots and lots of resources there if your family member has dementia. And there's also the Department of Aging and Disability Services. So all of those are throughout the United States, and there's great resources there to help.
That is good practical advice from senior care expert Lori Williams. She hosts a podcast called Aging in Style. Lori, thanks very much for joining me today.